This was of Indian Constitution at Work and Political Theory. Okay, so we had read these two NCERTs, and then we have given this mentorship test 1, in which you have scored 160. Now this is a very good marks question. First things first, जब आपने मुझे ये वाला question explain किया, आपको पता चला there is certain lacunae in your understanding. Certain lacunae means शायद 10%
gaps.
Yes, तो ये चीज ना हमें पता चलती है by looking at the question and the text which you have read. We have only read NCERT. Statement 2 क्या correct है? Constitutional amendment in India are subject to judicial review.
They are ना, because 24th amendment when it was passed, then judicial review को subject हुआ था वो.
Judicial उतना लंबा से ज्यादा. Judicial review is the part of basic structure of the. खुशी वैसे क्या होता है ना, in the SM you need to write the test and you need to email it on the email ID that has been given. तो वहां पे क्या होगा कि your copy will get evaluated. The pen and paper based, you will get an evaluation from a set of evaluators. That is one round of review. ठीक है? And you need to send it to me also, the unchecked copy, so that I can also discuss. Being a mentor, I know कि आप अभी कहाँ पे हो. ठीक है? What is the level of preparation? How much have you read?
मुझे लगा वो email जो होता है वो आपको directly पहुंच जाता है. I didn't know the process.
There is a separate set of team जो evaluate करेगी on the pen and paper base, so that you can look at कि नहीं मैंने कहाँ क्या गलती की है. And I as mentor, I will also take the discussion of your SM individually. So therefore we have made this model. वैसे तो क्या होता है समाचार मंथन में every student is writing the same set of answers only, so we can take the group session, but no, each and every student is sacred. उनका लिखने का तरीका, the basic mistakes which they make, the flow of the answer, the level of their preparation, it varies. Got it? So therefore this model, is it okay?
Yes sir.
So therefore I will take a discussion of yours. You have written 2 answers. ठीक है?
3 answers लिखे.
3 answers. You have written 3 answers. If possible, then write more answers and send it to me. If not, just do one simple thing. Try to write the same answers on the pen and paper based, not that type.
हाँ, लिख के भेजूंगी.
चलो, this will be helpful for us. I am sharing my screen. So this is the test that you gave.
Yes.
First things first. Khushi, in this test you scored 161. चलो 160. यानी effectively your 80 questions are correct. Got it? So this was the test of NCERT. Sorry.
अच्छा ये prelims वाला है. Okay.
Yes. So effectively your 80 questions are correct. Therefore you have scored 160. Now this was of Indian Constitution at Work and Political Theory. Okay. So we had read these two NCERTs, and then we have given this mentorship test 1, in which you have scored 160. Now this is a very good marks, Khushi. First things first. ठीक है? But yes, there are certain lacunae which anyways we need to identify. Maximum of your questions are correct only. ठीक है? So that is so well and good. And one theme that I have noticed is that your factual questions are also correct and your conceptual questions are also correct. ठीक है? Now, इनसे हमें क्या पता चलता है? If your conceptual questions are correct, which means you have understood the concepts well, and also you have retained the concepts well. You have very good retention at the first group. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Generally, what happens? चलो ठीक है, you have understood well and fine, but many people they are not able to retain stuff. Obviously, because they are reading it for the first time and all. Okay. Now, let me come to the questions which you have left or you have marked as incorrect. Okay. Now, there is one question. This is question number 4. Here, this particular thing about the DPSP. Okay. We have only read the NCERTs. Okay. Now, this question, DPSP, they aim to promote the social and economic well-being and provide policy direction to the government. And DPSPs are legally enforceable. Okay. How did you come to certain conclusion कि इसमें A ही right answer होगा?
मैंने A mark किया.
Yes.
One only.
Can you explain me why have you marked?
DPSPs are because DPSPs are not legally enforceable by the court. Only fundamental rights are. DPSPs are not.
Okay.
Oh, that I know.
Yani you have eliminated.
They are.
Second option is correct. Therefore, first is correct.
No, not just elimination was my first step, but then they aim to promote social and economic well-being to provide policy direction to the government. So when the constitution was made, some things could not be turned into proper laws, but the constitution makers wanted to leave some future scope for these things, that the parliament should at a later point legislate on it, or at least the DPSP should provide a policy direction to the government to do certain things in a positive direction. So I thought maybe for that reason one could be the answer.
Now see, Khushi, this particular question you have marked as correct. ये तो आपका सही है, ठीक है? Then why am I discussing this particular question? मैं इसको क्यों डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ? अब देखो, जब आपने मुझे ये वाला क्वेश्चन एक्सप्लेन किया, आपको पता चला देयर इज सर्टेन लैक्यूनेस इन योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग. certain lacunae means शायद 10%
gaps.
Yes, तो ये चीज ना हमें पता चलती है by looking at the question and the text which you have read. You have only read NCERTs. Okay. If by only reading NCERTs you have come to certain conclusions, तो मुझे ये चीज पता चलनी चाहिए. देखो, what happens actually? You are very true. DPSP जो है ना, these are certain rights which was not given by the constitution. Not given by the constitution means which was not legally enforceable. Given का मतलब होता है legally enforceable. Got it? Now, therefore, the constitution makers, they included DPSP and they said that whenever the government will make any law, not the government per se, but the state, defined in Article 36 for Part 4, उन्होंने बोला कि जब भी स्टेट कोई भी लॉ बनाएगा या कोई भी पॉलिसी बनाएगा, then it will take into consideration the DPSPs. Because देखो, anyways they are not legally enforceable, but they have a moral obligation. And not moral also. Constitution makers का ये बोलना था, if a government is not heeding to DPSPs, चलो ठीक है, these are not legally enforceable, but the people in the next election, they are going to defeat the party या the government that has not kept into consideration the DPSP while making laws. यही होता है. Though DPSP is not legally enforceable, but अगर ये इसको implement नहीं कर रहे हैं, then the people, they will not vote for the party or the government in power. So therefore यहाँ पे इसका यही मतलब, provide policy direction means whenever you are making any law, you will take into consideration the DPSPs. Got it?
DPSPs, it's like a guiding light, even if it is not mandatory to follow.
Yes. अब ये चीज क्लियर हुई पूरी, क्या कॉन्सेप्ट है?
Yeah.
And the fundamental rights, they are generally, see, I'm using the word generally. They are generally in the nature of political rights. It is said so in the criticism to fundamental rights. They have left out some important social and economic parameters or rights. So therefore, वो जो gap है जो fundamental right ने create किया है, that is bridged by DPS. Okay?
पर ये लास्ट वाला पॉइंट समझ में नहीं आया. व्हाट गैप?
कहते हैं ना, फंडामेंटल राइट्स जो है वो जनरली पॉलिटिकल और लीगल राइट है, तो वहां पे कई सारे सोशल एंड इकोनॉमिक राइट्स छोड़ दिए गए. तो जो छोड़ दिए गए हैं, वो जो गैप है ये डीपीएसपी भर देता है. This is not true also completely, because Article 17 talks about abolition of untouchability.
Yes, exactly.
Untouchability
The
is
right against exploitation.
It is a total social right ना, but still ये criticism है. And the DPSP जो है, they bridges those things. Got it?
Got it.
चलो, 5 तो it's an easy question. हाँ, yes, this one. This question number 6 of yours. This is incorrect. Why so? Statement number 1. To the power to initiate the amendment lies exclusively with the Parliament under Article 360
of the Constitution.
Now,
ये correct है.
Amendment in India are subject to judicial review to ensure they do not violate the principle of federalism. मतलब आपने इसमें A क्यों मार्क किया? पहले मुझे ये बताओ. Don't see the answer.
Statement 1 and 2 are correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1.
देखो, statement 1 is correct, undisputed, कोई इसमें dispute नहीं. This is, चलो खत्म बात. Statement 2 क्या correct है? Constitutional amendment in India are subject to judicial review.
They are now, because 24th amendment when it was passed, then judicial review को subject हुआ था वो.
Judicial उतना लंबा से ज्यादा judicial review is the part of basic structure of the constitution.
Yeah.
Therefore, कोई भी ऐसा पार्ट नहीं है जो judicial review से immune है in substantive way. ठीक है? Now, to ensure they do not violate the principle of federalism. अब मुझे ये बात बताओ, उसमें judicial review क्यों है?
कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को वायलेट ना करे इसलिए.
कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को वायलेट ना करे. एंड लेट अस कंसीडर दिस स्टेटमेंट टू बी करेक्ट. व्हाई? बिकॉज देखो, constitutional amendment in India are subject to judicial review. Right statement. Why they are subject to judicial review? To ensure that they do not violate the principle of federalism. Say for example, the central government, ठीक है, the power to initiate the amendment is with the central government only. They can amend the constitution and give themselves more power. उनको ज्यादा power दे सकते हैं.
Yes.
And in a way they can subvert federalism.
Yes.
Clear है? Therefore we need judicial review. So this is
federalism, protecting federalism is one part of judicial review, but it has other functions also, fundamental rights of citizens and.
But ये line का मतलब नहीं है. ये line ये बोलना चाह रहा है, it may be so that the center may give itself more powers.
Yes.
ठीक है? And to protect that federalistic credential of the constitution, we need judicial review. हम उस review करेंगे और बोलेंगे नहीं यार, this is against. And statement 1 जो article 368 है, this is violating the federalistic credential only ना. ये दोनों opposite statement है. One is not explaining the first one. Second statement is for the promotion of federalism, in favor of promoting federalism. But the power to amend the constitution is only with the parliament. Is it true? The power,
right. Okay, so basically, Supreme Court's power to amend the constitution.
पहले मुझे ये बताओ, the power to amend the constitution lies specifically only with the central government. Is it true? Yeah, only with the, is it true?
It's true. It's true. States cannot initiate amendments, but I think there is one exception in which states can initiate it.
Yes, whenever you want to change any federalistic credential, जब किसी फेडरल प्रोविजन को अमेंड करना है, then you need
उनको स्टेट्स का half the states का ratification चाहिए,
majority से ratification चाहिए.
हाँ, initiate है इसीलिए ये correct है, लेकिन amendment बोलते हैं तो गलत हो जाता है.
Yes, so there is some caveat, but the power to initiate is only with the parliament only. So therefore it is giving more power to the central government or the government of India. Therefore the answer will be
B. Right, because 1 and 2 actually contrasting statements है, वो उसका explanation है.
चलो आगे आ जाओ. हाँ. Again question number 8. देखिए दोनों क्वेश्चन आपकी assertion reason वाले ही गलत हुए हैं. चलो यहाँ Indian Constitution does not explicitly mention independence of judiciary as a constitutional principle. आपने इसको यह मेंशन दी, यानी कि आपने इसको गलत माना है. यही हुआ है ना?
ये हाँ सर, ये मेरी नॉलेज में गैप था, मुझे याद नहीं था कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में एक्सप्लिसिटली मेंशन्ड है यानी.
Explicitly does not explicitly mention. Yes, देखो explicitly mention का मतलब है some article of the constitution is writing. जैसे in the constitution is it mentioned कि the prime minister will belong to the majority part, जिसके पास majority है prime minister उसी का होगा. Is it mentioned?
No.
Not explicitly mentioned.
Leader of the majority party will be appointed as
not explicitly mentioned in the constitution. Similarly, it is not explicitly mentioned in the अब similarly आपने पढ़ा होगा in preamble, the 42nd amendment added 3 words: socialistic, secular and integrity. चलो 42nd amendment के बाद we are having these 3 words mentioned separately in the constitution, but before this the word secular was not mentioned.
Not explicitly mentioned maybe, but it was there in the spirit of the constitution.
Yes, but it was present in the spirit. लेकिन अगर पूछ देगा कि before the 42nd amendment the word secular was not present in the constitution, वो तो सही हो जाएगा ना.
So
But
we have
still,
to see letter और spirit में क्या difference है.
yes, but still Indian constitution was secular in spirit. Indian constitution was socialist in spirit. Indian constitution valued the principle of integrity. But explicitly mention किया था 42nd amendment के बाद. So therefore this is a right statement. नहीं लिखा है कहीं पर भी कि नहीं you have to. अब अगला क्वेश्चन आता है, हाउ इज इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ जुडिशरी एंश्योर्ड? हाउ कैन वी से दैट कि इन स्पिरिट वी एंश्योर इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ जुडिशरी? गुड क्वेश्चन ना.
Okay. No, come again, sir. I didn't understand the question.
Independence of judiciary though is not mentioned explicitly, then how can we say that in India we have independent judiciary?
Article 51.
Article 51.
Judiciary is
अरे नहीं
50 or 51. Judiciary is separate from the executive.
सेपरेशन ऑफ एग्जीक्यूटिव एंड जुडिशरी, वो तो सेपरेशन
Then Article 13.
आर्टिकल 13 तो अलग, वो रिव्यू, जुडिशियल रिव्यू एंड
judicial review. So judicial review को judicial independence में count नहीं करेंगे.
there are certain caveats. There are certain caveats. For example, just for example, you cannot discuss the conduct of judges. ठीक है?
In the parliament, yes.
The parliament, except when the motion of their removal is there.
Impeachment, yeah.
Got it? उसके बाद में एक और चीज है, contempt of court. The Supreme Court and the High Courts, they have a power to punish for their contempt. The removal is very difficult. You need to remove the judges by a special majority. Till now, no single judge of a High Court or a Supreme Court has been removed. इतना difficult process है. Can we say so?
Yes.
कि independence of judiciary promote कर रहा है. Otherwise, if a judge is giving some judgment against the government will remove them. Independence रहेगा ही नहीं. वो हमेशा अपने constant fear में रहेगा कि I need to be a person who is actively supporting the government. And in India, in more than 40% of the cases, government is one of the parties.
Yes.
Idea लग रहा है ना कि how things are and how we need to discuss. So first statement is now second. The impartial interpretation of constitution and upholding of the rule of law requires judiciary to function without executive or legislative interference. Again, एकदम right statement है. But do you think इन दोनों statement का आपस में कोई correlation है? या second one is explaining the first one? Judiciary जो है वो वैसे तो चलो.
Yes, it does. Because judicial independence के बिना, how will the judiciary freely interpret law without interference of the other two organs?
Got it?
Yeah. So statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1.
No, it is not the correct explanation. ये कैसे इसको correctly explain कर रहा है? यहाँ पे आओ, ये अपने आप में correct है. Impartial interpretation of the constitution, हम constitution को impartially interpret करेंगे कब? जब जुडिशरी के ऊपर एग्जीक्यूटिव और लेजिस्लेचर का कोई इन्फ्लुएंस ना रहे. How is this related to the explicit?
Achha, okay. Sorry, the first one is saying does not explicitly mention it. Got it.
ठीक है, चलो. Now this one, powers and various levels of judiciary. यहाँ पे देखो, the Supreme Court can transfer a case. Now you have marked your answer is A. A means only one is correct. Correct answer is B. Only two, only three. Now Supreme Court can transfer a case from one high court to another. आपने इनमें से कौन-कौन से स्टेटमेंट को सही माना था, ये बताओ.
First वाला मैंने सही माना है. Supreme Court can transfer a case from one high court to another. Second one, high court can issue it. This is also correct. Subordinate courts have original jurisdiction. I think ये वाला मैंने wrong mark किया. I was not sure about this. Fourth वाला भी मैंने correct माना. नहीं. Fourth वाला is not correct.
Original jurisdiction
is not correct.
Yes.
Subordinate court का original jurisdiction मुझे नहीं पता.
Jurisdiction क्या होता है? Are you aware of this? ये है क्या चीज? What do we mean by original?
I know. Yes. Original jurisdiction means the cases which first come to that particular court only.
अब बताओ यहाँ पे सबऑर्डिनेट कोर्ट में सिविल और क्रिमिनल मैटर्स डायरेक्टली जाएगा ना?
Yes.
मतलब इसके लिए हमको पढ़ने, देखो अगर आपको ओरिजिनल का मतलब पता है देन तो आई थिंक दिस इज वेरी क्लियर ना.
नहीं, मुझे ये पता नहीं था कि सिविल क्रिमिनल दोनों जाता है या नहीं। आई वाज अ लिटिल डाउटफुल।
ओके, लेकिन कोई भी अगर सिविल मैटर या फिर मैं क्रिमिनल मैटर सबऑर्डिनेट कोर्ट में ही जाएगा। चाहते तो इसको और अपना
जाएगा, यस।
कॉम्प्लिकेट कर देते, दे कुड हैव मेंशन सिविल कोर्ट या फिर चीफ जुडिशियल मजिस्ट्रेट या फिर डिस्ट्रिक्ट जज। यहाँ तो इन्होंने सबऑर्डिनेट कोर्ट एक अम्ब्रेला टर्म दे दिया है। गॉट इट? कभी कभी चीजें नहीं आती फिर भी हम सही करेंगे। आर यू गेटिंग मी ना?
या
चलो,
सर, उसमें वो फिर कौन से करेक्ट थे? एक बार वो क्वेश्चन दिखाइए।
थर्ड, फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड।
वो फोर्थ वाला तो रॉन्ग ही है
हाँ
ना?
हाँ,
ओनली सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज द पावर ऑफ जुडिशियल रिव्यू। हाई कोर्ट, सिर्फ हाई कोर्ट एंड सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज द पावर ऑफ
यस,
जुडिशियल
हाई
रिव्यू।
कोर्ट। नाउ फर्स्ट पास द पोस्ट सिस्टम, ये वाला गलत कैसे? दिस इज टू completely explain in the NCERT। इसमें आपने कैसे गलत किया?
What was my answer? Only when the country is divided into large geographical constituencies.
योर आंसर इज B2 बट द आंसर इज 1। आपने इसको शायद सही माना होगा, ये तो आपको
हाँ,
पता।
मैंने उसको सही माना। वो जोग्राफिकल टर्म आई थिंक वहां गलती
यस,
कर दी
ये
कि
लार्ज,
मुझे ये
नॉट ज्योग्राफिकल, स्मॉल ज्योग्राफिकल, बट
स्मॉल एग्जैक्टली है।
ये तो चलो ठीक है, गलत करने के लिए ही मेंशन किया हुआ था। ठीक है। एंड आपने भी, जिन्होंने भी अपना क्वेश्चन सेट किया है, यू हेल्प द पर्सन विल बी
ओके।
हैप्पी। यस, स्टार्टिंग में नाउ इसके बाद तो मैक्सिमम ऑफ योर क्वेश्चंस आर करेक्ट ओनली। ठीक है, एंड वेरी गुड, यू हैव रिटेन द कॉन्सेप्ट, बस दिस वन। चलो, आई वेरी वेल नो कि ये प्रेसिडेंट पावर टू ग्रांट पार्डन, this is not explicitly given in the NCERT, this is a stuff from Lakshmikant। Okay, so therefore I am not including this particular question in our discussion, rather I am reserving this, when you complete your Lakshmikant, then I will ask you to solve this question again।
सर,
And
ये वाला जब मैं कर रही थी, आई वाज यूजिंग दिस, ये मुझे फैक्चुअल आइडिया नहीं था, तो मैंने कॉन्सेप्ट ये लगाया था कि पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में वी स्टडीड दैट प्रेसिडेंट्स लाइक KR नारायण एंड अब्दुल कलाम, इन लोगों ने कैपिटल पनिशमेंट के लिए जो मर्सी की पिटिशन थी, पॉकेट वीटो यूज किया उस पे। सो एंड द गवर्नमेंट वाज अनहैप्पी विद दैट, और ऐसे ही करके 15 इयर्स तक इंडिया में कैपिटल पनिशमेंट नहीं दे पाए बिकॉज ऑफ KR नारायण, अब्दुल कलाम एंड प्रतिभा पाटिल। सो आई थॉट अगर वो इतने लंबे टाइम तक पॉकेट वीटो दे आर यूजिंग against the wish of the government, then I thought maybe they have the independent power to use it that way. But
never,
I
देखो,
think that was the era of presidential activism.
yes, नहीं नहीं, देखो, पॉकेट वीटो, any kind of power of the in the Indian constitution itself, it has been explicitly mentioned, जब हम गवर्नर की बात करते हैं, गवर्नर कैन एक्ट इन सर्टेन केसेस ऑन हिज डिस्क्रेशन, लिखा है ना? क्या प्रेसिडेंट वाले आर्टिकल में ये लिखा है? द आर्टिकल गवर्निंग द पावर ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट वेयर ही हैज टू टेक द एड एंड एडवाइस ऑफ द काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर, इज इट रिटन कि ही कैन आल्सो एक्ट इन हिज डिस्क्रेशन?
Sir, दिया होता है ना, except in situations where he has to act in his
So
discretion.
this is not mentioned in the article governing president, only mentioned in the article governing the governor।
It's not there in the one for president.
yes, it is not the case with the president।
Okay,
ठीक है,
okay.
तो प्रेसिडेंट के केस में इट बिकम्स ऑल द मोर क्लियर कि नहीं, नो पावर ही हैज। still let, let us come to this particular question। I am reserving this question, I am marking this question whenever you complete your
तो फिर
Lakshmikant।
सर, हाँ, तो फिर सर, how did these presidents use pocket veto on capital punishment
Again,
and they stayed
there are
it
a
for
lot of things,
15 years?
there are a lot of things which works on convention, which works on the political will, which works on the type of the government, the tolerance of the politician, and the intellectual clout of the,
Yeah, that was the era of presidential activism. No? Yeah.
yes, अरे मतलब, yes, presidential act, देखो, any kind of activism ना, this is a negatively connoted word। Judicial activism is also not bad per se, but judicial activism
Yeah.
is interpreted in a negative manner। कि what you are trying to do is that you are trying to usurp the power of any other institution or body, and basically आप अपने jurisdiction के बाहर जा रहे हो, no matter how good your
But it
intentions। Are you getting
but
me
it
now?
is not necessarily negative in a
नहीं नहीं नहीं
democracy. I
नहीं नहीं,
think it
not
is healthy to
necessarily।
an extent.
Poison, poison क्या है? Poison, is it a good thing or a bad thing in a general parlance?
Bad in
General
general
parlance,
parlance, bad.
but we can make medicines also, na? Even the venom of the
Yeah.
snake itself is used to make a lot of medicines, a lot of different kind of
Yes.
pharmaceutical drugs are made। So activism
It
per se,
depends on the context then.
yes, activism per se means कि you are basically trying to usurp the, not usurp, basically you are trying to cross your jurisdiction, though to help others।
Hmm.
रॉबिन हुड का केस है,
Hmm.
when you will read ethics ना, वहां पे आप deontology और teleology पढ़ोगे. तो deontological approach is an approach where you follow the means. अगर means सही है तो end सही है. In the teleological approach, if your ends is correct, then means can be justified.
Means justify and ends justify.
Activism is basically a teleological approach. कि हाँ ठीक है यार, basically I am doing something which I am not entitled to help others.
So activism is ends justify means. For a
Ends,
certain end, you will
yes,
take up
yes.
whatever means you want.
We can say in such a manner. थोड़ा सा ये discussion हमारे.
But sir, in the case of our bureaucracy, because of how rule bound they are, we can say means justify ends because they
Yes,
focus
अरे
more on
बिल्कुल
rules.
बिल्कुल. In sociology we read Robert Merton. तो Robert Merton में ना there is a theory.
Yes, trained in capacity.
Yes, institutional means and structural goals. So there is one particular thing he talks about, that is being ritualistic. So no matter what happens, bureaucracy will always abide by the means.
Yes.
ठीक है, चलो यार. फ्रॉम पॉलिटी वी हैव
ये
कम.
पबाड़ में भी है, पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में भी है.
ये सब जगह है, जहाँ जहाँ ब्यूरोक्रेसी है ना, एवरीथिंग इज नाउ.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
देखो, दिस तो इज अ फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन. दिस यू शुड हैव मार्क्ड.
This I did not know.
ठीक है, नथिंग टू डिस्कस हियर. ओनली द कंसेप्चुअल थिंग विल बी डिस्कस्ड. ओके.
Yes.
सब मैक्सिमम क्वेश्चंस आपका करेक्ट ही है, बट स्टिल जहां जहां मुझे लगा there is a scope for discussion, is this one, the CAG. Again, this CAG is a very factual question. This
Yes,
question
sir.
is
याद नहीं
reserved
था मुझे.
when you read Lakshmikant. ठीक है, NCERT has touched upon this concept, but to answer the question of this particular factual cloud, you need to read Lakshmikant. इसीलिए ना मैंने आपको बोला था ऑन द कॉल इटसेल्फ कि नहीं ठीक है, आपके जो क्वेश्चंस गलत हुए हैं, यू विल बी नीडिंग सम हायर ऑर्डर नॉलेज ऑन द सेम. इसलिए डोंट वरी, हम ये कर लें.
ओके.
यस, दिस वन. देखो, ये फ्रीडम है. दिस क्वेश्चन इज फ्रॉम पॉलिटिकल थ्योरी बुक. सीधे द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ फ्रीडम यू हैव मार्क्ड एज सी, आंसर इज बी. ठीक है,
I
फ्रीडम
made
इज.
a silly mistake here.
यस, आई होप ये आपको जैसे ये वाली पीडीएफ आई होगी आपको समझ में आया होगा. ये जो सोलली वर्ड है ना,
सोली वर्ड है, वही गलती हुई.
देखो बताने की जरूरत भी नहीं पड़ रही है. गॉट इट, कि हम कैसे मिस्टेक्स करते हैं, एंड वी नीड टू आइडेंटिफाई देम so that we can work on them. यहाँ पे yes, this one again, features of liberal democracy. Again your answer is A, 1 2 3. Answer is 1 2 4. Now majoritarian discussion making. लिबरल डेमोक्रेसी. नाउ लिबरल डेमोक्रेसी में यहाँ पे राइट्स तो होना ही है. डेमोक्रेसी we will always protect the minorities, so 4 should always be there. How did you come to this conclusion?
So सर, जो NCERT में पढ़ा था वहां पे दिया था 2 types of democracy. I don't remember the other thing, but liberalists, sorry, it was about liberalism and liberalists, where they said that liberalists believe in free market economy, and they don't believe in government intervention for providing a level playing field. They believe in the idea of perfect market. So minority rights के लिए government intervention, they don't believe in that. So that is why I thought कि protection of minority rights is not a part of liberalism, because they think that markets automatically regulate themselves.
So you're talking about liberalism in general. ये तो आप लिबरलिज्म के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. यहाँ पे लिबरल डेमोक्रेसी का डिस्कशन है.
So there is a difference.
हाँ, that is the liberalism. Liberalism is an altogether different concept now. Are you getting me?
Okay.
Liberalism.
सर, लिबरल डेमोक्रेसी और बाकी टाइप में क्या फर्क होगा, if there is another type or only plain democracy?
फॉर एग्जाम्पल लिबरल डेमोक्रेसी देखो, अगेन लिबरल डेमोक्रेसी का मतलब ही ये होता है कि डेमोक्रेसी विद ऑल इट्स फीचर्स इंटैक्ट. गॉट इट?
Okay.
Now in certain cases we can also consider third statement as also correct, but if you look at the explanation, ये explanation में क्या बोला है? Democratic system often use majority decision making. Liberal democracy specifically seeks to limit unrestrained majority. ठीक है, यानी कि they sought to restrict the majority rule. Why? Because it incorporates constitutional checks and balances to prevent the tyranny of the majority and protect individual. For example, अगर कोई ऐसी डेमोक्रेसी है जो माइनॉरिटी राइट्स को प्रोटेक्ट कर रही है, यानी कि इफ द मेजॉरिटी इज ट्राइंग टू सबवर्ट द माइनॉरिटी रूल या माइनॉरिटी राइट्स, या तो स्टेटमेंट 3 करेक्ट होगा या तो स्टेटमेंट 4 करेक्ट होगा। मेरी बात समझ रहे हो मैं क्या कह रहा हूं? ये जो क्वेश्चन है, इन दिस क्वेश्चन आइदर स्टेटमेंट 3 कैन बी करेक्ट और स्टेटमेंट 4 कैन बी करेक्ट। दोनों तो सही नहीं हो सकता है।
यस, दोनों कॉन्ट्रास्टिंग है, दोनों सही नहीं हो सकते।
इन केस ऑफ इंडिया, majority, say for example on the basis of language, there is some minority group, ठीक है, minority group number 1 and there will be one majority group, ऐसे ही होता है ना। लैंग्वेज ले लो, रिलीजन ले लो, कास्ट ले लो, कुछ भी ले लो, मेजोरिटी अगर बोलेगा कि आप ये माइनॉरिटी, यू डोंट स्पीक योर लैंग्वेज, यू स्पीक माई लैंग्वेज, will the polity in India tolerate it?
नो
No. So therefore if option 4 is correct, option 3 has to be wrong.
करेक्ट, यस।
आपने इसको जिस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में समझा, आपने बोला यार डेमोक्रेसी इज एनीवे द रूल ऑफ मेजॉरिटी ओनली ना, सो व्हाई इज दिस इनकरेक्ट? गॉट इट? थोड़ा सा ऑर्डर स्किल और चाहिए था। गॉट इट?
नहीं, मेजॉरिटेरियन डिसीजन मेकिंग तो ऑब्वियसली अनडेमोक्रेटिक हो जाएगा, बिकॉज देन इट इज नॉट फेयर।
यस, अगेन दिस इज अ वेरी फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन, ठीक है, थोड़ा सा ये दिस विल इंक्लूड द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ हिस्ट्री, कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस हिस्ट्री, देयरफॉर जब हम वो करेंगे दिस थिंग विल बिकम क्लियर, ठीक है, नॉट टू वरी। नाउ this is how the discussion will take place of each and every stuff. Am I very clear?
Okay.
कोई doubt है?
Yes, this was very helpful.
ठीक है, now I will discuss your SM when you write it and send it to me.
Okay, I will send it as soon as possible.
Today itself.
Sorry?
Today itself.
Yes, अभी थोड़ी 1 घंटे के अंदर I will send it.
And talk about the further targets and talk about the further targets then.
Okay. फिर लक्ष्मीकांत, how should I start reading then?
लक्ष्मीकांत में देखो, लक्ष्मीकांत की स्ट्रेटजी के लिए let me give you a call again, ठीक है, that is going to take, because this particular thing is only of 40 minutes, let me give you a call again and talk about the Lakshmikant ka approach. Okay?
Okay.
Chalo, I hope the session was helpful. ठीक है?
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.